Collective, the energy that you guys are in at this moment is who are y'all playing with? Who are you playing with? This is a message that's been coming through, but it's also the energy that we are in that we're moving into because we are aligning with the authentic versions of self and are no longer apologizing for our desires. Okay. When you know it's rooted in healthy habits, when you know it's rooted in divinity, when you know that you've done the work. Now, I did pull some cards with the beautiful Archangel Raphael for this particular weekly channel, but getting into this before reading the cards that really speak and synchronize to what was been placed on my heart about a month ago, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Okay, there was a message that we were coming through with concerning self-worth, right? And I feel like this is a month later, we're back in that energy, but it's self-worth with now implementation. This is integration happening where now you are honoring what your authentic self wants, right? Your authentic responses. Let's say that somebody just sends you a text message and you don't feel like answering that text message. You may be next to your phone, you may have some hurts going on. So you sit here and say, you know what? I'm ignoring that text message. I don't have to move when my phone just makes a sound, right? As many of us have been programmed to do, and many in society expect us to do. And so we are moving into a phase where we're really honoring the genuine responses that we want to give others. And it doesn't mean that there is any type of evil intention there or there's any type of lack. It just means that you are honoring your space and your response. So about a month ago, when we were dealing with the self-worth, we had to feel that we were worthy of showing up for ourselves, right? And just a couple days ago, I had an experience where I was annoyed by something. And I was advised, a download came to me. I was advised, okay, you can stay in in the position until you are more uncomfortable and you finally make the decision to move, or you can just show up for yourself because this is the natural response that you want to have in the first place, and you move. And I was like, yeah, like, why do I have to wait for me to be uncomfortable? So I think what's happening on a deep collective spectrum is this deep integration of your sovereignty, understanding your sovereignty as far as your energetic space, what's in your energetic space, what you will allow and what you won't allow, you know? And now we're getting to points where we become so uncomfortable in reacting in any way that is false and not authentic to us, that this is propelling the authentic responses. And I'm not saying that this is going to be easy or it's an overnight process. What I'm saying is that this is the integration of honoring that and integrating with those aspects of us, because when we talk about being this ideal version of ourselves, this was another download. It's like, are you going to wait for the perfect circumstance for you to be the ideal version of yourself? Or are you going to stop, excuse me, not stop. Are you going to start operating from that vantage point to get into alignment, with the highest version of self? And that starts with honoring our voice, honoring how we authentically want to respond to a situation, not from trauma, not from, coping mechanisms, but just from a place of being centered within and honoring ourselves. Anytime you are honoring yourself and you are listening to your voice within and it's not rooted in trauma, there should never be someone who gets offended because you are showing up for yourself. And if someone's getting offended because you are showing up for yourself, that it's not someone that you need in your corner. Okay? These are telltale signs. Pay attention to how people are reacting when you choose you. And you know who will be in alignment with you when they don't have access to your energy. See, this whole energy of, collective of who are you playing with, it's not like, oh, who are you playing with that, you're messing with someone. It's play is the energy of creation. And this is what it's been giving to me, and it's what's being like shown to me. The collective is now because we are again integrating with different aspects of ourselves that are showing up, for ourselves. That's We're showing up for ourselves in truth, right? With experiences and reactions that are rooted in truth, rooted in tranquility. And as we are integrating with these versions, the whole aspect of who are you playing with collective, it's, that play is the energy of creation. That you're in a very sensitive, space right now, and not necessarily sensitive space where you feel like you need to, be hunched over, be barreled down. It's sensitive because you know that you've done a lot to clear out degradation, to clear out the heaviness, and you understand that engaging with anyone, having a conversation with someone, whether it's playing a game, whether it's joking, whether, it's creating something together. Anyone that you are spending time with, that you are engaging with, that is a certain level of engagement. Spirit was telling me the other day, anything that we do, whether, it's getting up and working on our projects or working on our business, this creates an energy field and this is going to create an outcome, right? To your actions. If you decide to do something that is wasting your time, then realize what fruit is going to bear from that is going to be wasting your time. But if you choose the correct path, your actions, if you choose to actually follow the imprints of your heart, then at that particular point in time, you will be creating something that is worthy, that is sustainable, something that, you want to have around. You're not just wasting your time or seeing the days flying by. You're actively being productive, but not productive from a standpoint of this has to get done. This is just, what do you want to do? What are you going to be pouring your energy into? And collective, this is where I feel like you're creating not from a standpoint of I need this to be successful. I am creating because this is where I'm at. I have not been able to really be in tune with this aspect of myself because of trauma, because of different circumstances. And now that I've found, this aspect of myself, now that I'm integrating with this aspect of myself, I'm no longer allowing that light to be taken from me, and I am going to spend time in what is precious. I'm going to spend time in what is true. Collective, this is where we are at this moment. This is a moment of collective consciousness rising. And it's not to sit here and say that you don't want to leave anything to the collective. I don't think that's it. I think you're creating beautiful things that can impact a collective in beautiful ways because you are creating the things that you needed most, the things that are helping you bring light into your vessel. And this is in a stage where you are honoring yourself and you realize not everybody deserves access to this particular energetic space that you're currently in. And this is only for the few. This is only for those that you can be yourself truly, authentically, and vulnerable, and allow that vulnerability to show. So understand that when you're on this path, people say that it's a lonely path. It's not. It may appear to be lonely from the physical standpoint. It's actually really beautiful. It's really liberating. You're more in tune with, the spirit world, the cosmic, the divine, the cosmos, and you're feeling the sense of self, of love, just ultimately developing, and engulfing all aspects of self. The journey may seem lonely because there may not be a lot of physical people around, but you understand that your peace is meant to be protected. You know that your energy that's been hard earned and hard worked for to keep this particular vibration, not everyone can access because you are making sure that you maintain a certain vibrational level. Now let's get into this weekly because that was all part of the weekly, okay? But we will get into these cards. So, with the first one that we have is grasshopper. Now, mind you, I ain't know much about grasshoppers, but I was like, okay, this card came out. I gotta go to DuckDuckGo and I need to look at the behaviors of a grasshopper. Okay, listen, the way readings and stuff come through, just go with it. So, the grasshopper, ultimately, once it wakes up from the night, the first thing it does is positions itself beautiful to bask in the energy of the sun. It needs to warm up. Okay. Now, mind you, a lot of y'all have been coming out from a lot of cold energy, right? Just, whether it's evil eye energy, whether it's been just people not wishing your success well, uh, your health, all these different types of things. Okay. You taking your time, you are in a new, what we consider timeline, just a new vibration, okay? And in this new vibration, this is allowing people to access different dimensions. Okay. And in accessing different dimensions, different things are available to you. Okay. And so you're like the grasshopper after going through some heaviness, and some cold energies, you're allowing yourself to bask in the sun. Now, the next thing that after the grasshopper warms up, it basks in the sun, but then it goes to feed. And it has a strength to jump away from predators and things like that. So the reason why I say this is that you're now allowing yourself to just be more in the present moment. The grasshopper was giving me present moment. It's allowing you to jump from a position that has not served you to another position, right? To get away, from the parasitic energies. And this is, also your leap of faith, you following the intuition that you've been given by the divine, but just the inner knowing of what you've been meant to follow. And as the grasshopper instinctively makes sure that it's receiving the warmth, you are also doing the same for yourself at this particular point in time. Not by anybody else, but you may be actively sitting out in the sun. I know I've been called to sit in the sun a lot more, just more grounding, within the elements of nature and even within my body. Um, and in this, the very next card that came out was the wild card. Okay, this is a surprise. Um, I feel like this is a root chakra experience that's about to be taking place, being elevated for a lot of the collective. Um, but this is more so where I feel like I'm getting like a flip, right? Of like the energies that you've experienced before to like let's say you've experienced, coldness. Now you're going to be experiencing goodness, right? The sweetness in life. And it's going to be in unexpected ways. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of surprises in store for some people, things, opportunities that can be game changers, really cultivate a new existence in life for you. But this isn't where you're going out looking for this. This is where things are going to be aligned with you because it's aligned with you and you are now focused like the grasshopper and being in the present moment. You're not worried about what tomorrow will bring. You're not worried about even what yesterday brought. You are so centered in the now, right? And what you are experiencing, and you're realizing that you can't predict what tomorrow will bring for you specifically, and I don't think that you're in a place of even trying to craft it. More than anything, I think you're just trying to experience it and realizing that your vibration is one of the things that needs to be on par, and you are, doing that. There's a lot of like reflective energy, but not reflective in where, like from beating yourself up. It's just reflective. Okay, you know what? My life has shown me this. I've refined from these experiences, but ultimately looking to grow, looking to have experiences that propel your growth that are rooted in tranquility. This is where you are focused at now. And this is why these wild experiences or unexpected surprises will be entering your field. The next card that came out was the moon. And I feel like this is because it came out to the wild card. I do feel like this has to do with like your spiritual gifts expanding. I do feel like this has to also do with nighttime experiences. So for most of the collective, I feel like this is going to be on a nighttime. If you can allow like stillness to be within, because during the day, it's not to sit here and say that you can't have experiences, but during the day, you're more so focused on handling the things that you need to. So if you are the person that's very introspective, I feel like there's going to be a lot of activity in the nighttime, could be a lot of activity in the dream time, or just even when I'm getting like stillness meditation. So the more that you're still, the more messages can come through. And they're also just telling me stillness of mind. It doesn't necessarily have to be stillness of the body, right? Because we could be doing things, but if your mind is more so present, now spirit can come through and engage with you because you're not looking at the past and you're not looking at the future. You're at the present moment experiencing those experiences, and now spirit can, oh, they're saying, all right, it's not an integration with you, but they can access the part of you that's more present, more integrated, right? So if there's been, they kind of gave me like a vision of like if there's been different aspects of you that've been pulled in different directions, it's been hard for them to actively been try to access you or even communicate with you because you've been looking at all these different circumstances of what has actually happened, right? Or what could possibly happen instead of actively being present. So the more that you are able to be present within yourself, the more that you are able to just stop looking at the past and stop worrying about the future. Understand that this is where more messages are going to come through. So that's what they mean by stillness. And thank you for giving me that vision, because it does really speak to the fact that sometimes we want these experiences, but we're pulled in so many different directions that we don't even have enough energy or strength to be able to see the road ahead. And we got the writer. So I do feel like, again, they were talking about, the stillness is retro into retrospection. I feel like this is where you're going to be having more movement. I'm getting clairaudient for some, right? So the messages that you'll be receiving, whether it's like telepathic, clairaudient, clairvoyance, clairsentient, it'll be a lot more direct and you'll understand where it's coming from, right? So there's a deepening of ancestral pathways and knowledge that's being afforded to you and presented to you at this particular point in time. The card that came out was blueprints. Okay. And I love the fact that this came up because I've been talking about like blueprints, following the imprints that have been left by the divine on our heart, on our soul to accomplish. And I genuinely do believe that this is as a collective where we're going. The blueprints, I feel like I'm getting master plans that been set for your life. Okay. Um, and you're now honoring and moving towards that. Okay. Don't think that the actions that you are taking at this particular moment are completely just random, even from a state of like protection. It's been part of a great design. It's what I'm getting ultimately to align you with the highest version of self, because you've done the work, and I'm getting like a congratulations, you've done the work, right? And now there is still the refinement process, but this refinement process is speaking to, again, the levels of success that you can reach, right? What work are you willing to put in? And this is what Spirit has been putting on my heart, right? The actions that you take are either going to move you and propel you ahead in life, or they're going to keep you in the same position, or they're going to cause you to stay stagnant, really. And the whole entire point of all of this is evolution of consciousness, right? Finding our way back home. There is a man in your energetic field, okay? And I feel like this is speaking to the man that has been placed by the divine to help bring these blueprints into fruition, okay? So this is for those that are connected to your divine partner, your divine counterpart, eternal flame, whether this is physical or just energetically, right? You can just feel them, sense them around. This is where there's a lot of plans underway, a lot of surprises underway, and it's Wheel of Fortune, right? The next card that came out. So I feel like this is only the good that's going to be presented to you. I feel like, again, these are opportunities that, the masculine energy within your field feels worthy of you. But also, things that, I mean, because they've been observing, right? Things that they think you will ultimately like, enjoy. They've, been studying from a standpoint of wanting to bring you the best and really finding out what you would think is the best, right? And so the Wheel of Fortune, you are going to get what you desire, but just allow yourself to be like the grasshopper, allow yourself to be at the present moment, allow yourself to absorb the sun. Don't uh, hide from the light when really the light was always where you were meant to be. Then we got the golden ticket, Willy Wonka. Okay. First of all, Gene Wilder loved that movie. Okay. I know that to be the original Willy Wonka. If there's another one, excuse me, because I don't know it. But yeah, nothing like the one with Gene Wilder. Absolutely love Willy Wonka. And the little Oompa Loompas. Now I'm gonna see if I can watch that movie because I absolutely love me some Willy Wonka, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So I feel like the golden ticket is sitting here. It's like you've gotten what you need for your new life. everything, the blueprints, the foundation has been laid. I'm not going to sit here and say that the building has been laid yet, but the foundation, a sturdy foundation, right, which is rooted in abundance, which is rooted in manifestation, which is rooted more importantly in the love of the divine, of the creator, of love for self. And now you are going to go out here and bring so much love to the collective because it is time. You have so much love to give, but also loving yourself first, understanding that if you need time alone, you take that time alone. You do not pour from an empty cup. Now, the overarching card for that one, um, the oracle is raccoon. Okay. The raccoon is speaking to problem solver. They usually can be a little mischievous. And I guess you got to be a little mischievous in this in this journey if you're trying to go against the matrix. And but you're not only that, like, regardless of whatever situations have been handed to you, you were adaptable. You've adapted in circumstances, honestly, that were unfavorable to you. You are now in a situation where the energy is different. The energy is favorable to you. The energy is propelling your growth, rooted in tranquility. Ooh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And this is where now your creative skills come out. This is now where your entrepreneur, skills come out. This is now where you start showing the world your light because you want to show the world your light. You are no longer hiding, my dear. This is your coming out season. I did pull some cards, and I do feel like this week there might just be a couple, because I did pull some tarot cards. There might just be a couple moments where there may be some moments of redirecting the mind, or maybe even tears that need to be released, because we have the Five of Cups, and the Five of Cups is looking at what's spilled. There's been a lot of you who have lost connections that were meaningful to you, whether it was familial, whether it was relationships, whether it was friendships. This doesn't feel like acquaintances. This feels like someone who's lost something that's been very valuable to them, that has made them feel like life was not worth living at certain moments. And so understanding that you are there's there's things about the past that you wish you can change, but understand that everything is in God's timing and divine timing, and that would all come into fruition when it's time, if you're meant to be reunited. And it hurts to have found this peace in that, in this joy, truly, to the depths that you have, but then to not be able to share it with those that you genuinely wanted to. And I think that there is a certain level of sadness that you're processing. I don't believe that this is too much to the conscious mind. I do believe that it's more like on the subconscious levels for some. But who I'm speaking to, you're very, very aware. You just understand that this situation, you can no longer sit in the sadness of it. You can no longer sit in the heaviness of it, because that would make someone want to feel defeated and not get up. And you are in a season of getting up and continuing and starting over, not continuing, but starting over again, starting fresh. Like those wounds that you experienced never happened, right? Like God had a magic eraser, but ultimately, even with that magic eraser, there is, those feelings of those experiences that have been true. And know that this wound, I do feel like it's meant to heal, and it will heal in its time. Just keep trusting in the divine, keep trusting in God, because it's all in God's timing. And the next card that came out of it was the Five of Pentacles, which to me, it does speak to everything that's been spoken to before. You dealt with this heaviness, and it allowed you to show up for yourself. It allowed you to show up in the moment, and now you are creating. The Queen of Pentacles, it's someone that's very fruitful, someone that's very abundant. But I believe that this is also from an aspect of creation of, and what I stated earlier is you are creating things that you feel you wish you had, things that you know have helped you in this journey and could help others in their journey, but you are doing it for yourself. And this is bringing in that abundance. The overarching card for the tarot was the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, this is the heaven and earth, heaven coming together to earth to move your experience on earth. And I do feel like it's an aspect of as above, so below. excuse me, as above, so below. This is, your higher self coming down, to also help your, your earth plane self manifest the desires of your dreams. So, my dear, this is a really beautiful reading. Thank you so much for tapping in with me and Archangel Raphael. And just really the structuring of what comes next. And y'all take care from me and spirit. Peace.